Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this review video, we'll be discussing the 2000 film. Or should I say the film that came out in 2000 called Where the Heart Is. Starring Natalie Portman. Of course, I think this might have been like the first movie, or might have been the first movie that Natalie Portman starred in after her breakout role in Star Wars, the Phantom Menace. And this came out like the very next year, and she gave a terrific performance. Of course, she never got any higher than she did in this film. Well, she was always hot, but she was hot, really hot in this movie, and at least she played a straight, serious role without any crazy special effect. Well, I was gonna say not without any crazy special effects because there was a tornado scene in this movie. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But this movie stars, like I said, Natalie Portman as a poor girl is traveling cross country with her boyfriend, and she decides to, and she also mentioned that her character was pregnant with her boyfriend, and they're traveling, and she decided she lost her shoes because she took her shoes off in the car or in the truck they're in. And naturally, of course, she can't go. And some reason the boyfriend lost the shoes, so they pull into a Walmart and said, "Oh, let me get some cheap shoes or something." And then go in. While Natalie Portman was in the store, her boyfriend decides to leave her, so he dumps her at the Walmart. And this is only a plot that could only work in the movies because she having to stay in the Walmart. She slept in there. No one ever finds that she was in the Walmart camping out. Literally camping out. She was taking the camping gear. She was sleeping in sleeping bags and using the alarm clocks and so to wake up before anybody gets into the store. So the employees come in there to open up the store. And she hides out in the bathroom. She hides out in other spaces inside the store. And no one knew that she would hang out all day long from the morning when the store opens up to when it closes. And when the store gets almost closing time, she hides out in the bathroom. And so, well, it was one particular night, and while in between hanging out in the Walmart, she hangs out at a local library run by this loony guy who's there with his sick sister. And on one particular night where she was in the Walmart, Natalie Portman's character was in the Walmart, she goes into labor. And the guy who runs the library, which is right next door to the Walmart, he happens to walk by the closing of the library and saw that Natalie Portman wasn't doing too well, so he flings himself into the window, helps deliver Natalie Portman's baby, saves her life, saves the life of her baby. She gets to the hospital. Of course, that became a big, huge national story that a woman gives birth, or a young woman gives birth at a Walmart, and they call it the Walmart mommy or the Walmart baby and stuff. And she did receive some money from people who felt sorry for her because she was sleeping in the Walmart and stuff. And that's when her mother, who was played by Sally, and that was the only time you see Natalie Portman's mother in the whole movie, played by Sally Field. And what she did was she stole the money that people would donate it to her. Because the Walmart gave her like $500, towards taking care of the baby and stuff. So when that Sally Field did was she took the money, and out she goes. Well, during the time that Natalie Portman was hanging out at the Walmart, she became friends with Stockard Channing. Of course, people know her from The West Wing and from the first Grease movie. Became friends with her and was kind enough to let her, or Stockard Channing was kind enough to let Natalie Portman stay in her house. Well, that's when the tornado comes in, and after a while, a few months, she gets herself settled, or Natalie Portman does, gets herself settled, and she decides to go become a photographer. And so she was photographing weddings and stuff, and she was making a few bucks, here and there. And then a tornado happens. They're in Oklahoma. I should mention that they're in Oklahoma. Supposed to be in Oklahoma. and a tornado alley. The house gets destroyed. They were in, and the Stockard Channing character unfortunately gets killed in the tornado. And so when they took care of the funeral and stuff, Natalie Portman finds out that the Stockard Channing character left her a boatload of money, from the estate, from her estate, to Natalie Portman. Named her, Stockard Channing named Natalie Portman in the will. So she now has some money, and she rebuilt the house. Now she's got a pretty good sized house now. We built for the insurance money and stuff. We built the house, and then she became more and more established. She won an award for photography, and all this type of thing. And meanwhile, the guy who runs the library, they fell in love with each other. Because he fell in love with Natalie Portman, she fell in love with her baby, and they do have a love scene, which I believe this was the only time that I've seen when Natalie Portman actually did a sex scene in one of her movies. Because naturally it's like a PG or PG-13 love scene. What I mean by that is no nudity. Naturally, because Natalie Portman has in a contract that she doesn't do nude scenes, but for some reason she decided to do this love scene. And it was a pretty good hot love scene, because it's the first time you ever seen, and the only time that I know of in the movies that she did a love scene, and which you get any Natalie Portman fan like I am will get hot in the collar and say, "Whoa, Natalie Portman loves it." You're having sex in the movie. During after they had sex, because the librarian's sister passed away. And they felt so sorry that they had. It was almost like pity sex. And Natalie Portman's character does admit, so, "Oh, I felt sorry for you. We had sex. You mean you made me make? I made love to you, and it was out of pity because you felt so sympathy for me, sympathetic towards me, infatuation. And so you don't love me." And then Natalie Portman does love the guy who runs the library. But she didn't want to admit it because she felt that she was not good enough for the guy. And even though they were a perfect fit, she felt that she was not good for him. So he says, "Look, why don't you go back to school? And you always want to be a history professor, so why don't you go back to school?" So he does. And during that time, Natalie Portman became friends with Ashley Judd's character, the one angry woman, the Trump supporters, and he says to her, "Look," and they say to each other, "Do you love the guy?" And that's Judd. And he says, yeah. So why don't you go up and tell him, and apologize and tell him. So she goes up and apologizes to the guy, and says, "Look, it was wrong. It was wrong to say not to say they don't love you, because they do love you. I've always have for a long time, and I just felt." And the guy says, "Oh, why didn't you say anything before?" I said, "Well, because I felt I was no good for you." I said, "You are the only woman," and he says, "So you're the only woman for me that I want. I don't want any other woman but you." And of course, they made up. And of course, at the end of the movie, the major spoiler for those of you who didn't see this movie, the two characters did get married at the end of the film. I thought that the film was a very, very good movie. Like I said earlier, Natalie Portman gave a great performance, and she looked hot. I mean, you cannot look any hotter than she did in this movie. I mean, you have to be blind or gay not to see how hot Natalie Portman is. And she gave a great performance. And she was in just about every scene in this movie. And for a long, long time, you felt sorry for her situation, because she had no money, she had no family, she had no job, no way to support the kid. And then, of course, out of the notoriety of her giving birth to Walmart, people felt, and Walmart gave her a job. But believe it or not, despite the fact that in any normal situation, Walmart would not give her a job, because she was capping out, and then Walmart. I mean, how the hell did people not know that she was camp? Or the people who worked at that particular Walmart didn't know that she was camping out in there. I mean, don't they have security cameras? Do they have security in this building? Or don't they have night watchmen who knows that, hey, what the hell are you doing in the store? Get out, or they'll go call the cops. That stuff doesn't happen. I mean, the logic and that part of the storyline, to me, that's like the major plot hole in this movie. I believe that part actually, I'm not sure if it actually was based on a true story or not. That woman gave birth in Walmart, but now I mean, I can understand if somebody goes shopping in a Walmart and who is pregnant, who goes into labor. I mean, that happens. That can happen. But if somebody camping out into Walmart after hours and then gives birth during the after hours when the Walmart is closed, I mean, that stretches the disbelief here. But I mean, other than that plot point, I actually enjoyed the movie. So I do recommend, especially those Natalie Portman fans out there, or the Star Wars fans want to see her in another role. And I'm thinking, well, the Star Wars actors, at least for one of the prequels, who I think she did the most movies of anybody who starred in the prequels, except for maybe possibly Samuel Jackson, and then you had Ewan McGregor. Everyone, and of course Liam Neeson, who was in the first movie. But most of the actors did not act well. I mean, they didn't do constantly acting in movies like Natalie Portman has. So that's my review of Where the Heart Is. Please click on the video, please rate it. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews and on my YouTube channel at RallyC.com, that's OWDY, and that's C.com, that's the homepage of the Rally Reviewer. Christy Moore, please check out all of his videos on his website. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.